Chapter 006, Explosion.
Stef trembled. He'd been violently snatched from imagined heroics and mild excitement into real mortal danger. Every warning signal on his ship screamed that he was in near proximity to not merely a stalled ship, but a ship whose electrical systems were dangerously overloaded. Precious seconds ticked. Large electrical discharges snaked along the stalled ship's hull. It's gone. He didn't bother finishing the thought. Stef quickly configured the shields to their densest formation, and grabbed the manual controls just as the ship ahead of him went critical. He pulled on the control stick. The disabled ship drifted out of view, but he still saw intense light as the vessel exploded, and felt reverberations along his hull. The explosion sent pieces of the ship everywhere. Worse still, the screen showed the largest portion of the ruined ship bearing down on him at calamitous speed. Seconds from disaster, Stef threw the in-system drives to full power, yanked the control stick, and put the ship into an abrupt violent maneuver. There was a low, rumbling protest as the ship's maneuvering burners kicked in. It shifted to violent shaking as the hull underwent more stress than its materials were intended for. Stef couldn't hold back one bit. If the maneuver cracked the hull, or he smashed into the large portion of wreckage headed his way, the result was the same. The inertial dampeners had difficulty compensating for the variety of stresses tied to the drastic shift in direction. Stef felt alternately pushed down into his seat, then approaching weightlessness as the computer decided how best to redirect the forces. Still, closer and closer the wreckage came small fragments along with the larger one that meant certain death. As Stef's vessel turned, small debris began to hit the shields. The barrier did its work as the least substantial pieces came in contact. They burned up as they activated the protective plasma field. Though the ship had adjusted position significantly, the largest chunk of debris was still on course for, if not a direct hit, a glancing blow, absolutely deadly at this speed. Closer now, accompanying debris of not quite deadly size struck the shields. These larger fragments did not burn up when they hit the shields, but upon interacting with the barrier, lost energy. They were subsequently deflected away from the ship. Closer still, the death fragment crept. Stef threw the ship into the most drastic of evasive moves, straining the entirety of the ship, likely breaking at least some minor components. The fragment pushed against the shields, throwing plasma violently as it plunged deeper into the barrier. The two objects flew through space together with scant meters between them, a dangerous dance. Eventually, Stef's directional shift put distance between the partners, and pulled him out of the wreckage's path altogether. Stef watched on the view screen as the remainder of the destroyed ship drifted by, ultimately causing no damage, but an outsized portion of discomfort and unease. He retained his death grip on the controls, and began to shake when he thought of just how close he had come to death. The inertial dampener